This video describes how to answer the question, when can I graduate? There are multiple requirements you need to satisfy to graduate from USD. The first one is that you need 124 total units of college credit. Of these 124 units, 48 need to be upper division. Upper division at USD means courses numbered in the 300 or 400 range. Within this 124 units, you also need to fulfill the core curriculum requirements and your psychology major requirements. There's another requirement that you need a GPA of at least 2.0 in the upper division coursework in the psychology major, and also a 2.0 GPA overall across all of the college classes you take. A fourth requirement is called the residency requirement, where you need to take your last final units of coursework at USD. This means your senior year. And a fifth requirement is to finish the COMPASS program, which is run by Career Development and is helpful to prepare you for life after graduation. The major issue of deciding when you can graduate is based on the number of units you need to take to finish your degree. The number of units you need to graduate is tracked on your DegreeWorks audit. This DegreeWorks audit will help you answer the question of when can I graduate. You need to look at the first line of your DegreeWorks audit to see the total number of units you have left to reach the 124 you need to graduate. And you also need to look at the second line of your DegreeWorks audit to see the number of units you have left for upper division units to meet the 48 upper division unit requirement. You can also go through your audit and write down all of the major and core requirements that you have left to fulfill. Most of these requirements are satisfied with a 3-unit class, so you can then add up how many units you need to fulfill your core and major requirements specifically. If this number is larger than the number from number 1 or number 2, that is the total number of units you need, you can consider if there are courses that might double count in the core and major to reduce the number of units you need to simply satisfy your core and major requirements. You need to look at these 3 numbers and take the largest of these numbers. The largest of these 3 numbers is the minimum number of units you need to graduate from USD. You can then take this number and divide by the number of semesters you want to stay at USD to see how many units you need to take per semester. You could also do the opposite and divide by, say, 15 units if you normally take 15 units a semester to see how many semesters you have left if you continue to take 15 units each semester. For example, if the largest of these numbers is 50 units and you want to stay at USD for 3 more semesters, that would be 17 units per semester to graduate in 3 semesters. If your largest number of units is 60 units and you want to stay for 3 semesters, that would be 20 units per semester, which is more than a usual semester course load. The biggest number of units you can take per semester is 18 units. So instead, you might consider taking some summer or intersession classes. If you could take 2 summer and/or intersession classes, you could reduce that 60 unit number down to 54 and take 18 units a semester for 3 units to graduate in 3 semesters plus 2 summer or intersession courses. It is up to you to consider how many units you need to graduate and how many units you're willing to take a semester and whether you should take a summer or intersession class to help you satisfy those graduation requirements in the timing that you prefer. There are many classes that double count in the psychology major and the core curriculum. Some of these classes are required for the psychology major, so that is, you will satisfy these core curriculum requirements simply by being a psychology major. That includes social and behavioral inquiry from taking Psych 101, quantitative reasoning by taking statistics, and information literacy by taking research methods. This only starts in fall 2026. For those of you who are currently psychology majors, you've probably taken these preparation and foundational classes already, but if you haven't yet taken your capstone in the psychology major, which is Psych 495 or 497, then you will receive credit for both advanced writing and for critical thinking in the core curriculum when you take this class as a senior. That essentially means you do not need to seek out a class, a separate class, to fulfill either advanced writing or critical thinking, because you will get that core attribute once you finish your psychology degree. The department also has several classes that double count in other core attributes, but these are psychology electives. That means that they are not required for a psychology major, but you might take them as either an elective or in an emphasis, if you so choose. If you are looking for ways to reduce your total number of units to graduate, then seeking out some of these double counting courses might help you do that. This is the current list of courses that double count with these particular core attributes, but these classes can change over time, so please make sure to check the current schedule and the attributes section to see what attributes classes are counting for when you register. We have classes that count for the Diversity, Inclusion, and Social Justice Level 2, Advanced Integration, Oral Communication, and Information Literacy. But please note that these are core requirements, and therefore you do not need to fulfill them with a major class. You can fulfill them with other classes that maybe double count in other areas in the core, or with a class that maybe double counts in a minor. Or perhaps you just find a class that's of interest that you would like to take that would satisfy some of these requirements that's outside of psychology. These double counting classes are just especially useful for students who need more units in their major and core than they need total units to graduate. This will help you reduce the number of classes you need to take. Another way to answer the question of when can I graduate is to check your DegreeWorks audit. You can graduate when you have satisfied all of the requirements that are listed. These either need to be checked off green, which means completed, or blue, which means in progress. If you have any red, orangish circles in your audit down the left side, this indicates a requirement that is not being satisfied by your prior completed courses or by your current in progress or courses you've registered for the next semester. In order to graduate, all of these circles have to be blue or green. If you see any red circles, you are not going to be issued a diploma because you haven't satisfied a particular graduation requirement. This includes 124 units, 48 upper division units, a 2.0 GPA overall, the Compass program, core requirements, major requirements, and a 2.0 GPA in your major, plus any other minor or double major requirements. The Compass program will be satisfied once you complete all of the Compass points, including your senior exit survey. This is usually checked off within a couple of weeks after completing the survey. Psych 492 is a requirement in the psychology major, and this is a class you must register for in your last semester at USD. You will receive information about how to complete the course requirements, which is a survey, in the last month of that semester. Once you complete this survey, you will pass the class, but the grade will not be entered until grades are due at the end of the semester. But remember, you need to register for Psych 492, or you will not receive information about how to complete this course. If you look at your audit and you think you have taken a class that should fulfill a major requirement, but is not listed this way in your audit, you can contact your psychology advisor. If there really is an error in your audit, they can help you correct it. Or if there's an error, you think there's an error in a core requirement or somewhere else, a major, double major, or minor, they can direct you to who can help answer your question. If you have any second major or minor requirements you have decided not to complete, then you need to use the declaration of major form to remove that major or minor from your audit. You don't want to change the catalog year when you do this. Keep your current year, whatever you've declared under. If you change your catalog year, the psychology major might change, or the core requirements might change. You're graduating, you don't want to do that. You simply want to remove a major or minor that you've decided not to complete. If it's not checked off green, then the registrar's office will assume you are going to come back and complete those requirements the next semester, and they won't issue your diploma. So make sure you've removed any minors that you've decided not to complete before graduation. Once all of your DegreeWorks shows blue or green, That means you will graduate after you complete all of those classes. Now, I will note that sometimes the circles at the top, there's completion circles that go to 100%. Sometimes those don't say 100% until after you've completed all of the units. So don't worry if those numbers don't say 100%. Just look for the red circles down your audit. If everything is blue and green, then you've satisfied the requirements for graduation.